Well, I'm here today with Jnana Gowan speaking about our Love Notes anthology and her beautiful story that she shared, What the Mountain Reveals. Welcome, Jnana. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Cynthia. It's truly my pleasure.
I love your story so much, and it goes deep. What was it like for you to share something so personal in an anthology that's going out to lots of strangers?
When you said, "Hey, I'm putting this anthology together," I sort of kind of went to my world and was like, "Okay, what story wants to come through me, right? What is the story that wants to be told through me?" And so I have a really strong relationship with mountains, and then the nature of the story was about a transformational moment. It came through quite naturally. We often hear, "Hey, just go with the flow," or "I'm trying to go with the flow," or "be in the flow," or whatever. And so my transformation, as it were, was about really studying flow and what does it mean to be in flow. So coming back to your question, which was, what was?
What kind of impact did it have on you to share this very personal
Yeah,
story?
so I think in a certain way, it felt really sweet to be able to share my relationship, the depth of
Yes.
relationship, and also that if we can really slow down, which I'm a very fast moving kind of gal, I've been told to sit still much of my life, and it's almost impossible. And so for me that day, especially in the story, when I realized the rain was coming and I was watching the flow forming, it was huge. It was like a cannon went off, even though it was just raining on the mountain. But I realized it's like, oh, this is flow forming. So I think it was very
Mm.
impactful. When I'm not in flow, I'm like, aren't you the one that wrote the story about being with the flow? And trying to tell myself to settle down and go and be more in the flow.
Beautiful. And you actually had two mountains in the story. The second transformation happened in locally in Marin County, and the first mountain was in Peru. Is that correct?
Yes, at Machu Picchu. My husband and I were going to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary, and I love Peru, and it's I'm my practice and my spirituality has a strong Peruvian lens. And
Mm.
so I reached out to this man, has a school in Aguascaliente, just outside of Machu, is where you leave to go to Machu Picchu from. And I reached out and I said, "Hey, will you help us celebrate?" And he just wrote back like, "Yes, come see me in Machu Picchu." And I was like, "Okay, maybe a little more information." Like, but so we did. And then what ended up happening is he remarried us, and he helped us recommit our relationship and also to stepping towards the new, because our kid had also just moved away
Mm.
to go be at college. And so it's like, oh, it's he and I back together again. It's a very powerful place, but it was very, very special.
That's so beautiful. I love that. And there was another element, if I'm not reading anything into it, it was seems like there was an initiation for you in that experience as well.
Yeah, when he was doing what turned out to be our wedding ceremony, which we didn't know until at one point we looked at each other and we were like, "I think we're
Surprise!
getting married, we're getting married, we're getting remarried again." He had this beautiful, huge, I do this because it was this tail feather of a condor. It was like this huge medicine piece that he works with. And
Mm.
my husband and I, we were back to back, and my husband's about a foot taller than me. Juan was the man that I was talking about, and he was kind of messing with my shoulder blades. It's like, it felt odd.
Mm.
I just kind of went with it. And then that night I kind of realized it's like, oh, it was like my condor wing buds, my at my shoulder blades, it felt like they had been almost like not punctured, but it's like if there was a film over it, that film was opened so that my wings could come out. I was leaving one particular tradition and one way of being, and I was kind of stepping into another one, and I didn't really know what I was doing yet. But it was very clear. It was like, oh, I think, and I had done an event, maybe short, I guess, when I came home, or maybe even before I went. With a friend of mine, we did an event regarding our condor wings. So I feel like when my wings were kind of popping, it was like, oh, I'm stepping in. This is me flying on my own instead of leaning on someone else or having someone else show me how to fly. Had to
Wow,
fly on my own. Yeah,
that's some potent medicine.
yeah, it was very powerful.
Fabulous. I love your story and I love you. I'm so
Mm.
glad that you could do this little conversation about a little insight into how a story takes shape and what brings it forth. So thank you for that. What are you creating next?
Well, I am, it's actually because of your story. It has inspired me. It occurred to me, I'm like, oh, if I write 10 of these stories, then I have a book. I've been playing with finding out what else wants to come through me or what pieces of, I call it medicine, want to emerge. That could be not just my story, but maybe helpful to other people, or insightful to other people so they can find their own medicine or their own story. So looking
That's
into that.
beautiful, sister. I
Yeah.
love that. I'll look forward to that too.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks so much, and I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you, Cynthia. I really appreciate your time and your medicine and what you offer.